Coming up on this week's edition of the Hawkeye Sports Report, conference play is in full swing for men's and women's basketball as well as wrestling. We'll hear from Coach McCaffrey, Coach Bluter, and Coach Brands coming up. And the seasons for a couple more winter sports will get underway this weekend in Iowa City. Find out who straight ahead on the Hawkeye Sports Report. Hello everyone and welcome to another edition of the Hawkeye Sports Report. The men's basketball team is currently in the midst of what is a brutal schedule to start the conference season. Every game is important, with the next one coming up Thursday night against the Michigan State Spartans. Coach McCaffrey and players spoke earlier in the week about the importance of protecting home court during conference play.
Is it too early for a sense of urgency, or is that how you like your guys to go into games?
There's always a sense of urgency. I mean, every night in this league, you got a handful.
Do you like the term "must win," or what are your feelings on that?
I don't think about games that way. We're going to try to win them all. If we lose, we're going to try to get better. There's no other way to approach it.
Do you ever worry that your players think about it maybe that way?
I don't think they do, to be honest with you. I think coaches would be more likely to think of things in those terms than the players.
This is probably the most physical team that you're going to find maybe in college basketball. So that was really an eye-opener for me last year, especially on their place when they kind of dictate how the game's going to be called and how physical you can play down low. But you just got to play through that. And that's kind of what I took from the game last year. Obviously, it wasn't a great outcome, kind of like the Michigan game where we didn't fight back. But I think this team's really, we're really learning from those first two games. We're getting better. And I think we're going to come out Thursday and, fight back like we haven't in the past two games.
Is it kind of easy to get your point across this week, considering who your next opponent is, that if they don't have a good performance defensively, you can get run out of your own gym?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that once you get into this league, I don't know that it matters. I mean, the next game, no matter who it is, it's going to be a really good team. And anything short of our best, we're not going to win. We're not good enough to beat anybody in this league with anything less than the attitude that you're talking about. So it doesn't matter that it's Michigan State, in my opinion.
Is this a good opponent because if you don't match their toughness, you're probably doomed?
Yes, that is. That's actually true. It took us a while to figure out, if we're really tough, And, we have a lot of tough guys in our locker room. And, I think it took McCaffrey a couple of times to to put it in our head that we are a tough team. And, until we get that through our head and become a tough team and defend, it's not going to be that many wins that we have if we don't bring out that pride. So I'm looking forward to bringing out the pride and passion in our game. So, it should be a different team.
Much like the men's basketball team, the Big Ten boasts plenty of quality teams this season in women's basketball. After knocking off nationally ranked Ohio State to open conference play, the team is now looking to rebound at Wisconsin Thursday night following a loss to Michigan. Winning on the road is tough in the Big Ten, but Iowa's had plenty of success in Madison in recent years, and they're looking to keep that streak alive.
Obviously important game for us because coming off of our first Big Ten loss, we need to bounce back and have a really good performance at Wisconsin. The last time we lost a game, we reeled 7 off in a row. So I know that our team can bounce back. I know that we're capable of bouncing back. But it is our first road game of the year. If you want to be successful in this league, you got to do well on the road. And we have done well at Wisconsin in the past, although some of them have been kind of thrilling overtime-type victories. We've been able to pull out those victories, and ultimately that's the main thing. So I think our team is anxious to be able to go on the road. I think it's good that we are going to a place where we've had some success in the past, but I know that they're anxious to get back on the floor and prove themselves after the game on Sunday.
It's definitely important. It's important to win at home during the Big Ten, and we let that last one kind of slip away from us. So winning on the road will be a huge bounce-back game. And we talked about in the locker room the other day how the last time we lost, we went undefeated for a month. So hopefully this will kind of boost us back up and get us going again.
I feel like this game is definitely a huge thing for us. We need to get our confidence back. We need to come out and play the way that we know how to play, and just show that, you know, we're not affected. We are affected by this loss in a positive way, and we're going to come out, we're going to make changes.
Not very easy, but, you know, you really try to get those wins because we definitely now need to because of the loss at home. But, you know, you have to really get amped up for it, and, you know, you really got to stay together as a team because you got to look, instead of, you know, focusing on your crowd and letting them help you a little bit, you got to just turn in and use each other.
Now let's take a look at this week's Players of the Week.
This week's Hawkeye Sports Report Player of the Week is Sam Logic. In the upset over nationally ranked Ohio State, Logic poured in 17 points and added 8 assists and 6 rebounds. She followed up that effort Sunday against Michigan with 16 points, 9 assists, and 9 rebounds. Sam Logic, this week's Hawkeye Sports Report Player of the Week.
The Iowa men's basketball team returns 8 lettermen, including 3 starters, from a team that made its first postseason appearance in 6 years last season. The Hawkeyes now welcome in a nationally ranked recruiting class of 5 talented freshmen. The Hawks are on the rise. Order your Big Ten single game tickets today. Call 1-800-IA-HAWKS or visit HawkeyeSports.com.
Well, the Iowa wrestling team cruised to the early non-conference portion of their schedule. Last week, fans finally got a taste of some better competition with Ohio State and Purdue coming into town. Matt Nelson now joins us. And Matt, the duel with Ohio State, we knew it was going to be competitive, but fans were kind of left a little disappointed.
Yeah, they really wanted to see the matchup between number 1, Logan Stieber, and number 2, Tony Ramos at 133 pounds. That didn't happen, but there were some big moments at Carver Hawkeye this weekend.
Friday night's action started with top-ranked Matt McDonough's only match of the weekend, a 10-5 win to make it 37 straight wins for McDonough. Everyone was anticipating the match between top-ranked Logan Stieber and second-ranked Tony Ramos. However, Stieber was apparently hurt and sat this one out. Instead, Ramos cruised 30-14 for a tech fall over Kyle Visconti. Another night, another win for top-ranked Derek St. John at 157 pounds. Nick Moore, a 4-2 winner at 165. The 174-pound match was the highlight of the weekend. 7th-ranked Mike Evans did not score an offensive point against 2nd-ranked Nick Heflin in regulation, but tied at 4 in overtime. Evans sent the crowd into a frenzy with a 5-point move for a huge win.
You know, you don't want to be in those kind of positions because it's 50-50. It's a coin flip every time you're in those over-unders, you know. And the first time we got into that position, he won the coin flip. I shouldn't have been in there. And the second time, I thought I was a little more cautious. I kept my hips down more. Maybe it was 70-20, 70-30 coin flip, you know.
Ethan Lofthouse picked up a decision at 184, and Nathan Burak pulled an upset at 197. 5th-ranked Iowa upsets 4th-ranked Ohio State 22-9, but Tom Brands not happy with the Hawkeyes' performance.
We rolled too much. We went where they're wanting us to go. We hung on too much. It cost us 2 matches. And it cost us a lot of points in a lot of positions. And you know what? It really cost us 3 matches. I mean, I can maybe live with some things, but I can't live with that. And we got a lot of, I told the radio, I am waiting to see a team emerge. You cannot have a team go out there and wrestle like that and take it off me and put it always on them. My goodness, when something happens over and over and over again, I mean, hey, looking right here. So I'm going to look in the mirror when I get upstairs. We're going to have a good discussion, and then we're going to get ready for Purdue.
Sunday, the 21st-ranked Boilermakers came to Carver. Iowa had little trouble with the Boilers. After a Ramos win, Mark Ballweg picked up a tech fall, 22-7 at 141 pounds.
And I think I was more disciplined in a few areas. Tom mentioned my weight was a little too high, so I got to get that under control.
Derek St. John with a win, and then Nick Moore with a 12-4 major decision against Purdue's Pat Robinson.
You know, 65 was a real good performance. We got the major decision there, and he kept attacking. That's the difference for Nick Moore, and I think he's starting to probably feel better in his matches as well.
Mike Evans continued his big weekend by pinning Chad Welch in 4 minutes, 52 seconds. Ethan Lofthouse with a major decision in fine fashion. And at heavyweight, Bobby Telford with a win. Iowa 29, Purdue 9.
You know, on Friday night, I wasn't way past it in here. So we got Oklahoma State, and we're moving forward.
And when the Hawkeyes met the media Tuesday, it was clear they are ready for their first big road test of the season.
It's the two most storied programs in the history of college wrestling, and tradition has been maintained. You know, and he's got a good thing going down there, and we got a good thing going up here, and that's why it's important. And the fans get behind it.
Used to it, man. You got to be used to people hating you. So.
You like that?
Yeah. Just adds to the win if you get it.
Absolutely, I love it. There's nothing better than a hostile environment. So your objective then isn't to pump the crowd up, but it's to, it's to shut the crowd up.
They're are they ranked number 2 or something like that? Yeah, we want to bury them. Leave no stones unturned.
Is that the same for you individually? I mean.
Yeah, I mean he's the number 1 guy. Why wouldn't I want to bury him?
And this Sunday, 2 p.m., Stillwater, Oklahoma, number 2 versus number 3. Things just keep getting bigger and bigger as we head towards March.
Absolutely a big road test coming up here for the Hawkeyes. Speaking of wrestling, now let's check out this week's Play of the Week.
This week's Hawkeye Sports Report Play of the Week comes from Friday's wrestling duel with the Buckeyes. In overtime at 174 pounds, Mike Evans upsets second-ranked Nick Heflin with a 5-point move. Stephen Grace and Mark Ironside with the call.
Locked in kind of an over-under.
Don't want to be here, Evans. Don't want to be here.
Yes! Yes! And the fall!
Call the fall! Call the fall!
This week's Hawkeye Sports Report Play of the Week.
After months of anticipation, the fuel inside us rises. All of our training and devotion has prepared us for this. We stand as one team in black and gold. This is Iowa Wrestling. Secure your season tickets today. Call 1-800-IA-HAWKS or visit HawkeyeSports.com.
With winter among us and some snow and ice left on the ground, one of the last sports people might expect to be kicking off their season this weekend is a track and field team. The indoor season gets underway this weekend in Iowa City, and Coach Lane Anderson says they're excited to show local fans the potential of this year's men's and women's squads.
Some guys that were a part of the program and certainly know what it means to win a conference championship, and we have some goals. We haven't not necessarily talked on either side specifically about a conference championship. I think it's more identifying your key people, keeping them healthy, and then competing well in the meets leading up to the conference championship. You have to, on the performance list, put yourself in a position to be a 100-point team as kind of the benchmark. And if you can head to the conference meet with 100 paper points, then you give yourself at least a chance to do that. And so that was the formula 2 years ago on the men's side when we won the Big Ten championship at home. We went into the meet and we were a team on paper that had the kind of points that you would expect a championship team to have, and things fell into place. And we'll look to do the same things. And then on the women's side, certainly looking to improve significantly our point total. And obviously, if we improve the point total, the place component takes care of itself. We've been somewhere in the ballpark of where we anticipated we would be going into those meets based upon our seasonal performances, but we've certainly always felt like we were a much better team than we've shown the last couple of years. But I would say most teams probably feel that way. They feel like come out of a conference meet and there are things they wished could have gone better, perhaps everybody except the winning team. So I think we just got to put our best kids out there at the end when it counts and have them be at or near their best. And I think if we do that with both groups, the results will be favorable, and we'll be excited about the way the indoor season winds down, and then obviously we'll carry that momentum into the outdoor season. And then you add a guy like Justin Austin to the mix outdoors who's not with us indoors, and suddenly you got a guy who's been the Big Ten Athlete of the Year and has individually scored 20 or 25 or 30 points between relays and individual events. So all of a sudden a guy like that makes an outstanding team even better.
We fight, fight, fight every day in the gym. We're going to fight, fight, fight every game on the court. Will you fight, fight, fight with us in Carver this season? Hawkeye Women's Basketball. Get your season tickets now. Call 1-800-IA-HAWKS or visit HawkeyeSports.com.
My naam is Annemie Smith en ek is 'n hamergooier by die Universiteit van Iowa. I used to do hammer and discus at the same time, but the technique confuses me because at that time I had to do hammer, you start on your heel, and discus, you have to start on your toe. And the rhythm just confused me, so I had to choose. And I liked hammer better. I didn't do very good at it, but I liked it better than discus. And that was like the end of my 9th grade.
I saw some attributes that she had. She's very fast in the ring. She moves real well. She's very athletic. But I also saw a few technical changes that I could probably make relatively quick that would help her maybe reach even higher levels. So, you know, kind of the combination of her athletic ability and some technical faults, I think that would be easily adjusted were two of the main things I saw initially.
I'm not used to that pressure.
Is it
Like,
pressure?
Yes, it is, because I don't know, Big Tens is a really big deal compared to South African meets, I guess. It's a lot more organized, a lot more, doesn't really matter, so you have to do good.
You know, our expectation now is she's going to break the South African national record in the hammer throw, our school record in the hammer throw, and I think she's got a good chance to be an NCAA All-American this year. She's going to continue to develop and continue to grow, and you know, we're hoping that she can maybe even approach that standard where she can be competing for her country in international meets such as the World Championships and maybe someday the Olympic Games.
School record, one of them. Score at Big Tens. Still won our national record. At least qualify for a big international meet. It could have been like some world champs or student world champs or something like that. Or Olympics is a high goal, but I'd go for it.
Chelsea Lyon, number 19, senior pitcher from Broken Arrow, Oklahoma.
Chelsea Lyon. How else is this game going to end? And a great defensive play from Chelsea Lyon. It's about the 5th, 6th time she's done that this game.
A couple of the key factors of why I wanted to go here and why I was recruited here was because the availability of the campus and the hospital that was nearby was amazing for pre-med students, which is what I wanted to be. And then also the kids and the teammates and the girls on the team were absolutely amazing. My ideal career would be to have an administrative position at a hospital, and one word that describes me is outgoing. My favorite food is sushi. My favorite restaurant downtown is Formosa, and my favorite candy is Rolos. One of the goals for the team for 2013 is to be Big Ten champions, which will in turn get us into regionals.
We have a certain way of doing things. You'll see it in the determination of our students, in the classroom and on our fields, in the collaboration among our faculty that lead to great innovation and change, in the vision of our writers, artists, and doctors, bringing the world to Iowa and Iowa to the world. It's the Hawkeye way.
Another team kicking off their season this weekend is the women's gymnastics team. They return some quality gymnasts led by sophomore Emma Willis and senior Emma Stevenson. They will be in action Friday night at 7 p.m. right here in Iowa City. And as we mentioned, wrestling will also have another big-time duel on their hands this weekend. They travel to Stillwater, Oklahoma to take on Oklahoma State. The Cowboys come into the meet undefeated and ranked number 2 in the country. Iowa is also undefeated and ranked number 3. The meet will begin at 2 p.m. on Sunday. And men's basketball will take on Michigan State Thursday night at 6:02 in Carver Hawkeye Arena. That game can be seen on ESPN2. They will then travel to Northwestern on Sunday to take on the Wildcats at 4:30. Women's basketball has just one game this week. That will be on Thursday night at Wisconsin at 7:30 p.m. That game can also be seen on the Big Ten Network. And also last but not least, as we just stated, the indoor track season will kick off. That will be on Saturday at 1 p.m. in the Rec Building next to Kinnick Stadium. Best of luck to everyone in action, and go Hawks!